The vision of St. Alfred. Lord Tennyson. I had a vision when the night was late. A youth came riding toward a palace gate. He rode a horse with wings that would have flown, but that his heavy rider kept him down. And from the palace came a child of sin, and took him by the curls, and led him in, where sat a company with heated eyes, expecting when a fountain should arise, a sleepy light upon their brows and lips, as when the sun, a crescent of eclipse, dreams over lake and lawn, and isles and capes suffused them, sitting, lying, languid shapes, by heaps of gourds, and skins of wine, and piles of grapes. 2. Then methought I heard a mellow sound, gathering up from all the lower ground, narrowing in to where they sat assembled. Low voluptuous music winding trembled, woven in circles. They that heard its idea, panted hand in hand with faces pale, swung themselves, and low tones replied, till the fountain spouted, showering white sleet of diamond drift and pearly hail. Then the music touched the gates and died, rose again from where it seemed to fail, stormed in orbs of song, a growing gale, till thronging in and in, to where they waited, as 'twere a 100-throated nightingale, the strong tempestuous treble throbbed and palpitated, ran into its giddiest whirl of sound, caught the sparkles, and in circles, purple gauzes, golden hazes, liquid mazes, flung the torrent rainbow round. Then they started from their places, moved with violence, changed in hue, caught each other with wild grimaces, half invisible to the view, wheeling with precipitate paces to the melody, till they flew, hair, and eyes, and limbs, and faces, twisted hard in fierce embraces, like to furies, like to graces, dashed together in blinding dew, till, killed with some luxurious agony, the nerve-dissolving melody fluttered headlong from the sky. 3. And then I looked up toward a mountain tract, that girt the region with high cliff and lawn. I saw that every morning, far withdrawn beyond the darkness and the cataract, God made himself an awful rose of dawn, unheeded, and detaching, fold by fold, from those still heights, and, slowly drawing near, a vapor heavy, hueless, formless, cold, came floating on for many a month and year, unheeded, and I thought I would have spoken, and warned thee that madman ere it grew too late, but, as in dreams, I could not. Mine was broken, when that cold vapor touched the palace gate, and linked again. I saw within my head a grey and gap-toothed man as lean as death, who slowly rode across a withered heath, and lighted at a ruined inn, and said, "For wrinkled ostler, grim and thin, here is custom come your way. Take my brute, and lead him in, stuff his ribs with mouldy hay. Bitter barmaid, waning fast, see that sheets are on my bed. What? The flower of life is past, it is long before you wed. Slipshod waiter, lank and sour, at the dragon on the heath. Let us have a quiet hour, let us hob and nob with death. I am old, but let me drink. Bring me spices, bring me wine. I remember, when I think, that my youth was half divine. Wine is good for shriveled lips, when a blanket wraps the day, when the rotten woodland drips, and the leaf is stamped in clay. Sit thee down, and have no shame, cheek by jowl, and knee by knee. What care I for any name? What for order or degree? Let me screw thee up a peg, let me loose thy tongue with wine. Callest thou that thing a leg? Which is thinnest? Thine or mine? Thou shalt not be saved by works. Thou hast been a sinner too, ruined trunks on withered forks, empty scar echoes, I and you. Fill the cup, and fill the can, have a rouse before the morn. Every moment dies a man, every moment one is born. We are men of ruined blood, therefore comes it we are wise. Fish are we that love the mud, rising to no fancy flies. Name and fame. To fly sublime through the courts, the camps, the schools, is to be the ball of time, bandied by the hands of fools. Friendship. To be two in one, let the canting lyre pack. Well I know, when I am gone, how she mouths behind my back. Virtue. To be good and just every heart, when sifted well, is a clod of warmer dust, mixed with cunning sparks of hell. Oh! We too as well can look whited thought and cleanly life as the priest, above his book leering at his neighbor's wife. Fill the cup, and fill the can, have a rouse before the morn, every moment dies a man, every moment one is born. Drink, and let the parties rave, they are filled with idle spleen, rising, falling, like a wave, for they know not what they mean. He that roars for liberty faster binds a tyrant's power, and the tyrant's cruel glee forces on the freer hour. Fill the can, and fill the cup, all the windy ways of men are but dust that rises up, and is lightly laid again. Greet her with applause of breath, freedom, gaily doth she tread. In her right a civic wreath, in her left a human head. No, I love not what is new. She is of an ancient house, and I think we know the hue that cap upon her brows. Let her go. Her thirst she slakes where the bloody conduit runs, then her sweetest meal she makes on the firstborn of her sons. Drink to lofty hopes the cool visions of a perfect state, drink qui, last, the public fool, frantic love and frantic hate. Chant me now some wicked stave, till thy drooping courage rise, and the glowworm of the grave glimmer in thy rheumy eyes. Fear not thou to loose thy tongue. Set thy hoar fancies free. What is loathsome to the young savors well to the enemy. Change, reverting to the years, when thy nerves could understand what there is in loving tears, and the warmth of hand in hand. Tell me tales of thy first love April hopes, the fools of chance, till the graves begin to move, and the dead begin to dance. Fill the can, and fill the cup, all the windy ways of men are but dust that rises up, and is lightly laid again. Trooping from their mouldy dens the chapfallen circle spreads, welcome, fellow citizens, hollow hearts and empty heads. You are bones, and what of that? Every face, however full, padded round with flesh and fat, is but moiety on a skull. Death is king, and vivat rex. Tread a measure on the stones, madam, if I know your sex, from the fashion of your bones. No, I cannot praise the fire in your eye nor yet your lip, all the more do I admire joints of cunning workmanship. Lo! God's likeness the ground plan neither modelled, glazed, nor framed, bus me, thou rough sketch of man, far too naked to be shamed. Drink to fortune, drink to chance, while we keep a little breath. Drink to heavy ignorance. Hob and nob with brother death. Thou art mazed, the night is long, and the longer night is near. What? I am not all's wrong as a bitter justice dear. Youthful hopes, by scores, to all, when the locks are crisp and curled. Unto me my maudlin gall and my mockeries of the world. Fill the cup, and fill the can, mingle madness, mingle scorn. Dregs of life, and lees of man, yet we will not die forlorn. The voice grew faint, there came a further change, once more uprose the mystic mountain range. Below were men and horses pierced with worms, and slowly quickening into lower forms. By shards and scurf of salt, and scum of dross, old plash of rains, and refuse patched with moss. Then someone spake, behold! It was a crime of sense avenged by sense that war with time. Another said, the crime of sense became the crime of malice, and his equal blame. And one, he had not wholly quenched his power? A little grain of conscience made him sour. At last I heard a voice upon the slope cry to the summit, is there any hope? To which an answer pealed from that high land, but in a tongue no man could understand. And on the glimmering limit far withdrawn God made himself an awful rose of dawn.